Welcome back to the Cabral Concept. We are here for our first host call of the weekend, answering all of your questions that have been accumulating for the past couple of months at Ask Cabral. So really excited to get into today's show. Just open up that giant questions document, the brand new one for the new year. And I see that we have quite a few questions. So these ones are actually going to be tackled from the beginning of December was actually the first question that was coming in. Again, if you're new to the weekend house calls, welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. And these questions are on all wellness, weight loss, anti-aging. Sometimes they're from our integrative health practitioners asking questions on health coaching, career-based advice, like whatever it might be. If it pertains to the field of health, wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, mindset, getting the most out of life, I'm happy to do my best to share my perspective on what I've learned over the years and what I've seen in a practice now that has spanned 3 decades now. And again, really a field that I love and that I'll be doing for the rest of my life. So instead of me going on a long monologue of just my experiences, what I'd love to do right now is dive into today's first question. All right, today's first question. Let's open up this document. All right, we've got it right here. Today's first question is from Michelle. Michelle says, "Dear Dr. Cabral, I would love to ask your help in solving my mystery. This summer, I completed the CBO protocol with citricidal and then 3 months of the finisher. I ended in July and was feeling amazing with very healthy stool every day. Then in August, I went on a camping trip, and last night I had significant diarrhea that almost lasted 3 days. I could not trace back to what it caused it, except we did eat a batch of raw oysters the day before. Ever since those 3 days, my stool has been hard and pebbled and constipated for the last couple of months. Sorry for the TMI. I miss my healthy stools. I don't have any other symptoms, but after all the hard work of the CBO, I'm wondering if I maybe got a parasite or bacteria from the oysters. I cannot afford a stool test right now, but would you suggest I do the parasite protocol? And if so, should I take citricidal with it just in case? And is there any harm in doing this after all the gut healing work from the CBO finisher? Thank you so much. You've been my life and health saver, and I'm so grateful for you, Michelle. Michelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if you've checked out my podcast previously that I did on the 4 cleanses you should do every year, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out that show. Again, you can find all previous podcasts at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And if you ever can't find a podcast, just ask. Just go to cabralsupportgroup.com and just say, hey, where's the podcast on the 4 cleanses everyone should do every year? And you'll be able to find it. So the parasite protocol is on that list of 4. So yes, no issues. Check out the parasite protocol. It's only 6 weeks. You'll be able to handle that. There's not a lot of diet restrictions, honestly, at all on it because you're using specific herbs to help rebalance a healthy gut. And what else can I tell you about this? Well, it also could be bacterial based, right? So the para support protocol, again, we're not treating parasites. We're using a para support protocol that will help with some bacteria. Now, you asked about using the citricidal. I don't have an issue with that, okay? I don't have an issue with that, never for more than 3 weeks. And so I'll just let you know, though, let's say we can't run the stool test because we can't afford it this time, totally understand. You may want to think about doing the ParaPro protocol, and you should definitely do the intestinal cleanse along with it, okay? Your choice in the citricidal. You can do that with the para support or not. That's only for 3 weeks. And you would start right from the beginning with it, right? The 3 drops upon waking and 3 drops before bed in some water. And then that's week 1, then 4 drops week 2 twice a day, and then 5 drops week 3 twice a day, and then you're done. So then if things aren't where they should be, you might need to go into the CBO protocol. But again, I will let you decide on that. Hopefully that parasupport protocol with the intestinal cleanse and citricidal drops will be enough for you. Just make sure you are using your daily probiotic support or clean gut probiotic during that time. You want to make sure you're getting the good bacteria back in. Okay. Nicole's up next. Please do another podcast on mold. There is so much to know. I've listened to all of your previous podcasts. How does our body rid itself of mold? What's the process going on? She is waiting to do the protocol because she is currently on the CBO. I think we found and removed the source, but her symptoms are getting worse now that we are home and inside all the time with the pandemic. Will she show these symptoms until the mold protocol is completed because her body can't get rid of it? She has had high levels of Aspergillus. Does the mold just continue to add up in her system? Should we see improvement if we remove the source? I truly appreciate your genius knowledge, insight, and all that you do for others. Well, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. Let's see. So you're going to do the CBO protocol. You're also going to do an intestinal cleanse, and then you're going to go on to the mold toxicity protocol, okay? And so what we were doing is we were naturally rebalancing the body, boosting the immune system so that it can fight against the mold. Now, here's the issue with Aspergillus, especially if you live where I do in the New England area, there's tons of it. So anytime that you have decaying vegetation, you have Aspergillus. Now, if you think about New England, what do you have in the fall? Leaves that have fallen down. What happens? They rot and decay. What happens in the spring when all the snow is gone? You have the remains of rotten and decayed leaves and vegetation. Fall and spring are pretty challenging for mold. Now, that's naturally the environment. What do we need to do? Always keep our immune system healthy. Like that's what we can do. And we can sweat. We can do our functional medicine detox quarterly. We have to do all of those things. So hopefully, Nicole, it doesn't seem this is for you, but I would make sure that whoever this is also doing every 12 weeks functional medicine detox. Functional medicine detox, I think I said protocol earlier. And they can do the 21-day if they've never done it before. Because you have to open up those liver-based pathways. Now, Aspergillus can also be, besides the environment, from flowers in your home, especially when they're decaying, and they can be from certain types of moldy grains or nuts or food. So definitely make sure you've removed all the sources, continue to work the protocol, and then again, feel free to write back in after you've gone through all of the different protocols, okay? But yes, your body is fighting it, right? You're right. Because mold, believe it or not, some of the mold toxins, they're called aflatoxins, are very powerful. Remember, these are basically living things, yeast, fungus, mold, and they block the immune system from actually targeting themselves in the body. It's pretty amazing how it works. It's not good, but it's pretty amazing how it works because you are essentially the host for the mold now. So remove the source, begin the protocols, continue with the detoxes, try to do sauna to sweat it out as well, and continue to work the process. Mike is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Can mold toxicity or heavy metal toxicity cause a deficiency in B vitamins? I took a organic acids test, and I was low on pretty much all my B vitamins. I had no overgrowth of Candida or SIBO. I took a mold toxicity test, and I showed up high, and so I was currently doing the mold toxicity protocol. Do you believe by doing the mold toxicity protocol, I should be able to introduce the vitamins again? When I try to take the B vitamins, I get anxiety and shortness of breath. Okay, Mike, great question. I've actually answered the anxiety and shortness of breath with B vitamins on a previous show. People that are, instead of under-methylators, over-methylators can actually get this with too much B vitamins. So it's all about the right amount of B vitamins and methyl B vitamins for you. So what I would say is you want to start with your daily nutritional support shake or your daily activated multivitamin. And you can even dose that if you want. You could do 1 scoop instead of 2 of the DNS to start, which some people do, and to get the body used to it. And you can also do 2 capsules, 1 in the morning at breakfast and 1 at dinner for the daily activated multivitamin, instead of 2 in the morning and 2 at dinner. So that's totally up to you. Remember, the more stressed you are, the more your body goes through B vitamins. Just remember that. So people that are lower on B vitamins, even if they're taking B vitamins, when they show up on a Candida metabolic and vitamins test, well, the reason is typically because their body's using them to combat stress. B vitamins are used to produce more serotonin, to produce more of the anti-anxiolytic neurotransmitters, serotonin being one of them, GABA being one of them. And they're used under stress. They're used for the immune system. They're used for detoxification. So they're used for energy production. Like that's what they are used for. So the more energy you expend, the more stressed you are, the more B vitamins you need. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, dose the right amount for you. All right. Jessica is up next. And then, Mike, I'll just say one thing with absorption. If you have any type of gut issues, inflammation in the gut, it can affect the digestion, can affect your absorption of B vitamins as well. All right, Jessica's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Years back, you inspired me to truly heal and set on the journey of assisting others to heal as well. I was full of passion and had a dream that I was working towards every day to become a health practitioner that has a thriving business helping others. Since the virus hit, I can't help but to struggle with navigating where I should go from here, where we should go from here. I feel rather apathetic and often wonder what's the point of moving forward with my dreams at all when nothing makes sense anymore. I know none of us have the answer, but what advice do you have to move forward in this world that has completely shifted from what it once was? Thank you and blessings, Jess. Jess, I'm in the same boat as you, honestly. I know where you're coming from, and it's so, it's frustrating, and it seems bleak as to where we're at right now. But all I can do is look back and rely upon every other time we've been in a situation like this, we've come through it. And every other time that I've been in a situation like this in my life, I've gotten through it. I've been in all sorts of health issues and all sorts of issues across the board, right? Like relationships that haven't worked out, health that hasn't worked out. I've gotten injuries from sports in the past, all sorts of different things, right? So what I want to say to you is this, is that you have to believe that the future is always going to be brighter than the present. And the present can be amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like every day, present can be great. But you have to always believe the future will be brighter than the present. And then you do your best to bring the future into your present moment. I was actually having this conversation, it's funny, with my daughters last night. They don't like going to school and doing it all online and all these different things. And I just said, listen, I get it. I totally understand. Like I wasn't going to say, you have to push through it. No, listen, I get it. And I was just saying, you know, your mom and I, we don't like having you necessarily do this either. But this is the best for right now. And it won't always be like this. And so what we want to do though is enjoy this time right now, because soon you'll be back in a classroom. You'll be doing all of those things and you might have an issue with those too. So it's always like, enjoy this moment. What could you be doing right now? Maybe you step back from your practice a little bit, but can you be using this time now for reflecting on what you do want to be doing? Maybe something like IHP Mastery, which is more of the psychology behind helping people, right? So you start to go deeper on your education in other areas. So it can be a time for reflection right now, a time for really what you want out of life, for stepping back, but also creating a more positive future, because I know, I'm a believer that we will get back there and maybe it'll be even better. All right, Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I want to know, are the symptoms from mold toxicity or heavy metals toxicity permanent, or can they disappear by taking care of the root cause? A lot of questions on mold toxicity today, and I had no idea these were all lumped together. So what I would say is the issues are not permanent typically. So heavy metals or mold can affect the nervous system, the immune system, and then that can cause other issues. So for example, let's say that have issues with like an autoimmune issue right now, excuse me, and with MS, myelin sheath, or let's say you have rheumatoid arthritis from again, an underlying root cause of these autoimmune issues could be metals like mercury and arsenic, like with Hashimoto's, or it could be from mold. So here's the thing though. Permanent disfiguration, and I mean that as, let's say you have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and the knuckles are actually deformed. You can do a little bit to reset that, but I don't know anything permanent yet. In the future, might we be able to reset it with some type of stem cell? Maybe, but not typically bone. Bone, not typically, right? That's not going to be usual. So that could be permanent, but the pain and the autoimmune issues don't have to be permanent. You might have a little bit of degradation of the myelin sheath on the actual nervous system itself. But again, that some of it might be permanent, but it doesn't have to be, and doesn't all have to be. So what I would say is, whenever you have a heavy metal or mold toxicity issue, right away you go after that, right away. And again, I talked about this earlier, the 4 detoxes everyone should do. Well, I already talked about one being the rebalance of the body from parasites. The second is heavy metals. You need to be doing these things every single year. They build up. We are in an environment that's filled with parasites. Filled with parasites in an environment that's filled with heavy metals. So that's why it's good for most people to be doing them. So get started right away. run your mold protocol, do your heavy metal. They're each 6 weeks long. You can do it. Again, they're not like changing your entire life. They're honestly using just about 3 supplements. That's it. So it's not, and again, it's all based on scientific research as well. All right, let's get one more question in today. This one is from Elizabeth. Hi, Dr. Cabral. A food product I purchased which has flaxseed, sunflower, pumpkin, sesame seeds, and goji berries, was recently recalled in November due to containing hazardous chemicals. Upon a Google search, I found flaxseed warnings about cyanide danger. It later emerged the recall was actually due to FSA warning. There was an issue throughout Europe relating to a pesticide called ethylene oxide being found in batches of organic sesame seeds coming from India. I'm surprised about the flaxseed cyanide connection, but also surprised about the pesticide use on organic farming. I haven't been using either flaxseed or sesame seeds since, but I enjoy and would like to enjoy both again. Are these seeds best to avoid for now, as I'm confused with what can be trusted? Thank you. All right, so I don't want to throw any company under the bus, so I'm going to delete out the company's name because, again, I believe in trying to raise the industry and not knock down people, but I'm sure people could do this Google search if they wanted to on their own. I personally have never used this particular product. And this, Elizabeth, goes back to this. I'm just a huge advocate of this. You have to know the company you're working with and you're purchasing from, and you have to trust them. That's what it's all about. It's why I love going to farmers markets for my produce. I can talk with the farmers. I can even go to the farm if I wanted to. I like being able to do that. I know not everybody's able to, but they're popping up pretty much everywhere now. And then in terms of nuts and seeds, again, you can find good vendors online as well that test and they do all their purity testing. Like we have some organic flaxseed inside of our daily nutritional support. Before that ever goes in the shakes, our custom manufacturer actually tests the products to make sure that there's no pesticides there, those specific types of things. So it's just right now in the world that we live in, there's so much of everything. I mean, everybody makes a nutritional supplement, right? Honestly, like, because they know they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to try to make some money. It's the worst. It's the worst industry in the world and the best industry in the world. The worst industry in the world is because everybody tries to do it just to make money. The best industry in the world, because if you use the right products, it can change your life like it did for me. That's the reason why I'm in it. It's literally one part of my 8-part protocol, which is supplements. Because when your body can't get enough of the nutrients that it needs from food, which it doesn't when you have a weak digestive system, and when you need to give your body a big push, that's where nutritional supplements come in. So know the companies, be careful for overseas, bringing it in. And I apologize, but that's the best advice I can give right now. So Michael's up next. Actually, you know what? Well, let's do one more. Let's do one more today. We have a little bit of time. I usually do a half dozen questions. Let's do one more. Michael says, hi, Dr. Cabral. Which probiotic do you recommend for mold toxicity? The mold toxicity has impacted my digestive health. I feel like I'm not breaking down my food properly and I'm more constipated. A lot of questions on mold today. A lot of questions on molds. Well, for those people that don't know, you can run a mold test. And again, it's so common. Just go to equi.life, equa.life. That is the company that I formulate for, and the company where I oversee all of the labs along with Dr. Jennifer. So what can I help you with here? Okay, so probiotic for mold toxicity. It's a great question. So a lot of times with mold toxicity, it also ends up being histamine-based issues. That is why, again, you can't just take any nutritional supplement in the world. I can't recommend enough functional medicine-based brands. They're brands that doctors use in their private practice. They're not all over Amazon and all sorts of different places. Again, they might be on Amazon, but they're using them in private practice. That's why they're formulated. So we formulated our daily probiotic support to be low to no histamine, and same with our Lactobacillus acidophilus. So here's what we do. We do the mold protocol. Go to equa.life, check out the mold protocol. If you think you have other digestive issues, you probably want to do the CBO protocol first with citracidal, then the intestinal cleanse, then the mold protocol. That's what works best. Okay, you want to sweat, you want to do your functional medicine detoxes, you want to do the things I talked about earlier. Then what you want to do is start, but this will already be done for you in the CBO protocol. You start with the Lactobacillus acidophilus, which is dairy-free, and then you move on to the daily probiotic supports. All right. There we go. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of your reviews on iTunes and other media players. So if you haven't left a review yet, I would really appreciate that. You can just go to iTunes, Spotify, whatever your favorite player is, and just leave a review. It'll take you 10 seconds. It means a lot to me. It helps me move up in the rankings and able to reach more and more people. Take care, and I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions.